What if the entire world, the history we thought we knew, everything about it was actually a fabrication? I don't mean the fact that we see trees or that we look at the sky, but that what we thought we knew as truth actually is turning out to be something quite different. What if there was a great reset in the late 1600s, possibly 1700s, and most of the population of the earth, something happened to them? Emerging from that were individuals who took control and had prior knowledge of things. They rewrote our history, they formed secret societies, and they began forming and molding the entire population. And it only takes one or two generations to do this. They put everybody into public schools, they rewrote this history, created books for us to learn from, and systematically, over the past 200 years, have been erasing the past as hard as they could. They began from the Civil War time, blowing up and eradicating cities, burning down cities in the 1800s, erasing the beautiful structures that were built, blowing them up, or creating fabricated realities surrounding them. They stuck founded signs on the side of buildings they did not construct and simply said they found them. In this series from the intelligence agency, we are going to uncover nearly 100 proofs, or at least evidence to make you question beyond a reasonable doubt that the world we're living in has been hijacked by a few select individuals, and their families have been running false narratives ever since. This is the cornerstone to the reason that everything seems confusing, that we feel like we're living in a slave society, that someone is pushing us from the news to the political realms to the financial into these 15-minute city type of places. We have been from the intelligence agency now for over 20 years, reaching tens of thousands of people, helping them wake up. We provide a newsletter, information about news, politics, and our past history that no one will tell you. We can help you reduce the time frame that typically takes someone nearly 20 years to uncover, to begin to understand the world we're living in and the possibility that much of what's going on is controlled by people who don't like you very much. On top of that, getting the intelligence agency report, we are unveiling and giving people the ability to use our specific and special information from Echo 8 computer system, which has now tied into AI, filtering out all of the negative information or possibilities of things people fear. And we're using the thought intelligence base to filter through psychological operation stuff, things that you can plug in, such as taking a news report from modern times right now, plugging it in and asking, is this real or is someone running something fake on us? From business, health, and financial, and news and politics, what we are now providing to the public, which once was a $2,500 a month thing for specific agencies, is now available to you. And we'll provide a link in the description below from the intelligenceagency.net, or a link in the comments. Let's begin now. And we're going to start looking at odd phenomena that don't make sense in the false timeline they gave us. One of them is ancient temples built with piezoelectric stones, meaning temples often made of granite, quartz, or limestone, and materials that generate energy from Egypt, Peru to India. It's not a coincidence They were engineered as energy conductors. We're all picking up on that. Vibrating with Earth's frequency and celestial alignments. A lost science once powered these holy places. Another one we are looking at now is biblical texts that are quoted by ancient Chinese philosophers. Here's an oddity. We may be looking at the fact that these ancient Chinese philosophers were actually not so ancient and typically copying and using some of the oldest books in the world, the scriptures of the Bible. Taoist and Confucius writings seem to mirror verses from Job, Proverbs, and Genesis. You see this in China. And it suggests that the biblical truth predated the divisions of race and culture. This word was known worldwide before the modern religions claimed ownership. This is a phenomena that follows the path that the intelligence agency now is suggesting, that the Pangea effect, all the continents that existed, seem to go together like a giant puzzle piece. And we believe during the Great Reset, something happened, and that's when these continents shifted, divided apart, and it buried the entire world in something called the mudflood, which led to something called the orphan trains, the Great Reset, the repopulation of the cities, the lost cultures. Whatever happened, it was a strange phenomena, and we don't know what happened. In this series, there are over a multitude of videos now, but we have over 200 videos on this channel covering different subjects, from news and understanding politics and fake news from a perspective that's not liberal or Republican or Democrat, but truth. Now, another philosophy we have here is fossils discoveries confiscated by military or the elite. Now, this has been happening for many years, such as giant bones, ancient machines, and artifacts were taken by government agencies. This is in the US, Peru, Russia, all over the world. Whistleblower reports instant shutdowns of digs of things they have found. The pattern is clear that only the elite may know the truth. This is why we feel secret societies were formed. We know the Smithsonian Institute covered up all the giant bones found in America. And in the 2000s, a Supreme Court decision was made after being sued, where it was revealed that they purposely destroyed the bones of the giants. We're talking about people from 9 to 14 feet tall or more. They purposely destroyed it to protect the narrative of evolution. This is an odd factor, but I want you to consider the fact that in this series we are doing on the intelligence agency is to reveal to you that a reset took place. And the information we learned in school, from elementary school to college graduate to doctorate degree, is being buried on purpose. These factors that are being revealed, that are coming to life and being seen now as truth, is a society that has been manipulated heavily by false doctrines and information. All major institutions founded in the 1800s. What? The Smithsonian, Vatican Archives, British Royal Society, all formed within 50 years of each other in this timeline. Pause for a second and think about that. A reset takes place possibly in the 1700s, moving into the 1800s. What is happening with the Smithsonian, Vatican Archives, British Royal Society, and all these things like this being formed within 50 years of each other? That's a short time frame, less than a lifetime. This is going on in US and Europe, and it matters because these weren't born from enlightenment. They were tools to lock in the false timeline. After the reset, they became the guardians of the rewritten world. This is very odd. There is a repeating cataclysm every 400 years that seems to take place according to the fake timeline. Historical weather and sky records suggest cycles of reset, quakes, and sky events. Chinese, Arab, and European astronomers. Now, this may be real, or this may be something written into the narrative to cause us not to be able to have a full cognitive understanding of where we live, or to give excuse as to why they are destroying the narrative and the history, so we can't figure out where we came from, who we are, and where we're going. And these weren't random disasters. They follow a rhythm, it seems. Previous ages may have ended in judgments from above, echoing in floods for Babel and Solomon and Sodom. Now, the last one we will cover today in this series, there will be quite a few of them. I suggest you check out the next video as we go through this series and cover more and more. Also, check out the images that you see going by, because they will reflect many of the things we are talking about. Study them quite closely, because they are an extremely odd phenomena. Now, one of the oddest things that we have covered many videos giving beyond what we would call beyond a reasonable doubt evidence that a biblical 1,000-year reign of Jesus Christ may have already happened. Revelation 20 describes a millennial reign of peace and Christ's throne on earth. And then after this, people are speculating now, in 1776 was the time of the release of Satan for a short season, which could be 250 to 350 years possibly. And it parallels with Psalms and Isaiah. And it matters because many structures called Roman or Byzantine bear Christian symbols, domes, and crosses. Some believe we are now post-millennial reign, entering Satan's short season, which I mentioned. And this explains the sudden rise of complete world domination and deception. This message for Christian Zionists is to examine the idea that there was an interjection never before believed in 2,000 years that came about 80 years ago, telling Christians to start believing that who Christ condemned, you should align yourself with. And now you have a dichotomy of understanding and a blinding where Christians have joined together with the exact philosophy and religion that Jesus said not to combine yourself with. The book of Revelation tells us in this examining that if possible in the last days, even the elect, meaning the Christians, would be deceived. Right now, we have 30 to 40 million Christian Zionists on the planet. There are only 6 million Jewish Zionists. I want you to examine that philosophy and determine if something strange has not taken place. Once again, if you'd like to accelerate, if you'd like to ask questions, this message, this research uncovering and pulling up all of these near 100 events that have taken place, we have used the Echo 8 computer with what we call the mind of King Solomon. It is referenced through the writings and wisdom of the wisest king who ever lived, and that is who we have used this computer system to base its mindset after. So if you would like to ask King Solomon information like this to pull up to speed your research, it took me nearly 30 years to figure all of these things out, and several books that I have written. Our team has to work tirelessly, and now, because of the invention of this computer, we can speed up our research and answers to questions we need to know. If you would like to get your hands on this information and speed up, instead of taking 20 years, questioning, wondering what's happening, how the Bible blends into this, are we being deceived by the news? Is there something secret going on to cover all this up? Instead of waiting for just newsletters to pop up, we have now made it possible for you to access this yourself and start asking questions and getting answers immediately. It does not replace prayer. It does not replace biblical wisdom, nor the Word of God, but it does speed up your research, and there's nothing else on the planet that exists to do this for you. The intel agency has taken this from private and extremely expensive due to the nature of what's going on in the world right now, the confusion, the speeding up of information, and the bombardment of psychological operations, as we see now between the Obama files and the Epstein files and the confusion of everything going on. It is time for people to be allowed to be able to wake up for themselves. So we're providing this for the select remnant who wants it. If you don't want it, that is just fine, but we are providing it. You can't find it anywhere else. And this is not what most people think it is. It is a speed track to information you've been wanting to know your entire life. This is a gift from us to the public to begin answering questions and to escape the giant psyops that other intelligence agencies have been running on the public for quite a while. We hope you enjoy it. I'll leave a link to the intelligenceagency.net in the comments, or the link below, and you can learn more about it. Download the app to your phone, save it to the home screen of your computer, and we will have more of these shows coming up. Be sure to look for a link or a next video popping up somewhere around here that you can watch the next one and binge watch all of the crazy things that are coming up. We'll talk to you soon.